watching the clouds play with our little mountain. Throughout the winter, every day there's fog and clouds. And also you can't see from here. The lake is covered with winter ducks. I like spending a lot of time with them. I don't know much about ducks. I don't know their species names. That beautiful cedar tree there, no, I'm not going to cut it down. But the county allows us to trim it, and I like to trim it so the view of the lake and the mountains better. I've been doing a lot of tedious things. It's now the second week of January. I found it hard to come back to working on the cottage. Not that I don't like it. I enjoy it. I think it's sort of this, you get into this winter funk of sort of like hibernation. So I'm working in the bathroom. It looks messy right now because I broke a bottle of olive oil or olive soap that you used to waterproof the wall, and it was up here and it fell off when I was climbing. But I'm working on the ceiling. I'm just getting started. The white membrane is a vapor barrier. I got to fill in a spot there. And today I'm working on some trim to separate the Cadillac, which is Moroccan stucco, from the regular stucco. And I'm working on that piece of trim right now. I'm working on my cabinets. I got a little bit more work to do on them. They're very rustic, and they might, I think Denise is giving me the hint, they're too rustic. But I like rustic things, especially to go with the nature of the cottage in general. So that's where I'm at right now. Today I'm working on the trim. I'm going to work some more on the ceiling. And then once I finish the bathroom, I have to come back and clean the floors once more. And then the bathroom will be done, I think. And then I'm going to come out and work on the big sliding door that goes here in front of the bathroom. And then I'll start on stuccoing these walls. And then after that, I've already decided, I picked up a spray can of sort of fake stucco. I'm going to try it out in this mechanical room. This mechanical room's not important. Hello friends, I want to thank you again for coming back. I'm going to show you where I'm at. I'm not filming much of my work because I just don't want to bore you, but what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to finish up the bathroom. I made new cabinets. I've been working on the shower. It's got a little bit more work to do on that. I got the ceiling in, which was extremely hard for me to do. The fact that I can't lift my left arm up very high. I am seeing an orthopedist. I know what the problem is now. Besides, I'd had a rotator cuff tear for a while, but then about 2 years ago, I tore something in my back around my shoulder blade, and sure enough, the MRI showed that I have a partial tear in one of the major muscles around my shoulder blade. And that could be repairable. I don't know. I have to be very careful with my cancer about having surgery. Anyway, what I'm going to do today, I'm going to start working on the door. And the door is going to be a rolling door. I have some hardware. This thing here is from a barn that could be as old as 150 years or maybe even older, like 1850. It's still strong enough to use. It's a rail on which these pulleys work. And I don't know when these pulleys were made. They've been around since the late 1800s. So anyway, I've been able to restore them. So the door, I'm going to start sanding on. And then I got to put this hardware in it. And then I got to mount this bracket, which is a little, you might see some dots up there where I've been trying to find studs to mount the hardware in. It's a little hard because the stud finder doesn't work through stucco. That's the problem with that. Anyway, that's where I'm at right now. Hi, it's not compared to the east part of the country, but it's a cold day here. I'm going to say this once again. I've probably said it before. Looking at my barn doors, my Civil War era beam, my stones, my hardware, all these things, I am very, very proud of how this has turned out. I'm someone who does not have a lot of self-confidence. I have a lot of insecurities about things I do. But when I imagine building a stone building, this is exactly what I was looking for. And I didn't get there easily. It took a huge amount of work to find these rocks. The right dye I put in the mortar to give it this old look. Everything has worked out perfectly. And even designing these doors to fit so carefully, that was not easy for me. I'm not a very precise person, but I don't have many things to be proud about in my life. But when I do something right, I have to think about it. And I'm not bragging, I'm just saying that so many things I've done wrong. Now, I'm going to show you what I've accomplished. Here is my bathroom door. It is up, it's mounted. Got it mounted this morning. Whoops. This side handle I'm going to take off. I was using that side handle to straighten the door out. Now, here's one problem in using really old stuff. This wood here came out of a 120-year-old barn. I think this roller came out of a barn that was was built in the 1920s. Now, the metal railing it's on came out of a Civil War era barn. And the problem with that is that's why I have my grinder and some grease in my arm is trying to fix this railing. And because the problem with it, it's so pitted and rusty that I'll show you. Let me set this stuff down. Is that it rolls, but it rolls roughly, and now get old, you know. Whoop. Oh, it got stuck on some plaster. See, it's really noisy, really bumpy. And you know, for a barn, that'd be fine, but I think they get old as an interior bathroom door. But I tested these rollers. I've got a couple more rollers. I have backup rollers if I need them because I'm only going to use 2. I tested them with weights with my hand pulling down like 20 pounds on the railing, and it was fine. It went really smooth. The problem, this door, I bet it weighs 110 pounds. It's 2-inch, full 2-inch fir, old growth fir, so it's very fine grain. And all that weight, I don't worry about it. I've got it mounted deeply into the wall, so that's fine. But when you got so much weight along this bumpy rail, it creates all that noise and problem. Anyway, I'm proud of the door, how it looks. It's what I was looking for, but I got to work on that railing. I'm going to use a metal grinder to try to polish it down a little bit to ease out some of that bumpy ride along the way. I'm sure you've sanded before, so this is nothing exciting. I did change into my coat where I almost cut my belly open with a table saw, and then because it's a coat, I can get dirty with sanding. So this door is wet. I had it out here to dry, but it's just so wet these days that things don't dry. I'm see how good I can do sanding even though it's wet. My cancer is just over the horizon, and it may stay over the horizon, or every month, like just yesterday, I got my labs back for this month, and I'm okay. But every month you go in for labs, and you never know that when the cancer comes back, my next step has to be a very dramatic treatment like a bone marrow transplant, which will take months in the hospital and all this stuff. Anyway, so that's where I'm at, and that's the most recent development. I'll show you where I'm at now. Take care. I've got this area stuccoed, and probably it's going to take 2 more sessions to finish this, finish that, maybe 3 more sessions, and then probably start working on that room in here, and then I got to build my official stairs, and then I got to go up there and work on the ceiling, and that will take me probably till the beginning of summer. And then I thought I'd do it this year, but I'm not going to get to it, I don't think. I'm going to build a stone fireplace. It's a chilly, and that's going to take a huge amount of work. A sunny day. My goats are coming out. That's nice. They stay in when it rains. Hi, Clarence. I'm going to come out for air again and show you what I'm doing with the cottage, and I'll make this the end of this episode. I really like how this has turned out. This is I'm an artist. This is my canvas. I hope you can appreciate it. Over here I'm working on my countertop for the kitchen. And the problem is I have a hand planer, but it's hard to see here. There's little tiny nails, and this is wood. A barn was built around 1900 with this wood, old fir. So there's, oh, here they are. Here's some little tiny nails. And I went through 4 pairs of planer blades, and when the blade gets broken, it does these deep gouges in the wood. So I'm giving up on the planer. I'm going to switch to sandpaper to try to get this countertop in shape. I've already run a router around the edges, and I'll put, like I have everything, Danish oil on it to make it match. That's what's on this door, Danish oil. Same wood. So let's go inside and I'll tell you what's going on. Turn the lights on. These poles here, I have probably 100 of these poles. I brought them in to dry them out. They're dirty, clean them up. They're going to go in the ceiling. And right now my plan is to put vertically a pole about every 4 feet. The background is going to be white. I'll show you, like in my mechanical room, it's a white vapor barrier, and then these poles, I'll probably will run 2 rows of 1x4s, and then these poles will go over that. Just give it some design. I have looked literally at hundreds of stone barns in Europe, how their ceilings look. You know, usually the roof of the building is thatch, and I wanted so much to do thatch. I had a thatcher set up to do my thatching here, but the architect said, boy, good luck. The county would not like that. So I've got my door to the mechanical room hung. It's done. Don't know what the little blemish there I need to figure out. And then the mechanical room, for most part, is done. The floor needs a little bit of cleaning. I've already cleaned it some. I already have my washer and dryer put in. I have to stumble over this. This is used. And almost everything in this cottage is used. So here's that vapor barrier I have in here. I may come back and put poles in here. I haven't decided yet. This is the finished wall, which is just called whitewash. It's lime and water. I saw a couple of places I need to touch up down here. I'll do that. And it gives it that texture look that you would think in an old stone cottage. So that's done, and I'm moving along faster these days because the work is more fun. I removed my cardboard that was down to protect the floor. I've cleaned the floor once. It's going to be cleaned more. And then there are spots that's got plaster on it. I might have to use an acid wash. Here's my bathroom door. 100-year-old hardware. It's great to look at from my point of view, but it's if guests will have a hard time because this door takes a little bit of oomph. The bathroom is done pretty much. It needs to be cleaned more. I got a massive shower curtain in this floor. It needs to be cleaned more, but here's my medicine cabinet that I built out old wood, and I don't know, it might be too rustic, but in the shower I'm still working on clean. This shower is Cottage, which is a Moroccan waterproof lime stucco. It took me weeks to do this. Anyway, this room is done. So anyway, I'm going to be having shoulder surgery as soon as we get approval, and I can't work overhead, so that's why I want to go ahead and jump and start working on the ceiling. I've already cut out there's 4 rows of stuff I have to do, and I've already cut out the first one, and I have to go out and seal the seams with caulk and then put tape over the seams, then roll out the vapor barrier, and then cut my poles to fit, and then put the poles up. And that's going to be the look for there. And I'll come back. I can clean up these rocks here with some acid wash. And then next, I've decided I'm going to wait till next winter to build the fireplace. That's going to be a whole winter devoted to building this big stone fireplace. And that's where that's at. So, I wish you could, if you had any questions, you could ask me what they are. I have a avocado plant that's surviving all this I like planting avocado seeds, and I usually let them die. Anyway, that's what that is. Thanks so much for coming along. Next episode, I'll be really full into doing the sealing, and then it'll be my surgery, which will slow me down. I'm trying to think of things I can do with one arm. I'll probably do baseboards during that time. My son's a cabinet maker. I'm going to have him build the cabinets that will go up to the stove, and then also between the stove and the stairs. And speaking of stairs, these are not code stairs. I built them for the cottage, but then I read the blueprints, and the county guy points out every time he's here, these are not code because they don't fill the whole gap. So the steps need to be wider, and I'll work on that and do those things when I only have one arm. But thanks for coming along. You're seeing progress. Next summer, I'll spend the summer putting some more siding up that's missing and doing stonework. And then the following summer, if I'm still on this earth, if I'm still alive, of course, no one knows that for sure, but every time I go in for a lab once a month, I never know if it's the beginning of the end of me or not. Thanks again for coming along. So glad to have you here. See you next time.